Now, we shall discuss about the stresses in bolted joints. Now, from here onwards, we are going into the design part and we are going to have some formulas for calculating the required dimensions. Right? Now, what are the different types of stresses that may develop in case of a bolted joint? So, basically, there are three types. If you see the first one, the initial stresses due to tightening a nut. Say here, when you are making a joint, so you are placing two pieces, okay, you are joining two pieces and you are inserting a bolt, and after that you are inserting a nut, and after inserting then you will tighten it by using a spanner. Okay, you tighten it. If you further tighten it with your full effort, after some time the bolt may be broken. What is the reason? Here both the components are not subjected to external load. They are not subjected to any load. But during the tightening itself, the bolt was broken. What is the reason for it? That is due to the stress developed inside the bolt due to tightening. So that is the initial tightening. So at the time of making the joint, initially you are tightening it. So due to the tightening, stresses are developed inside the bolt. That's why the bolt may break during tightening itself. Such stresses are called as initial stresses due to tightening a bolt. So in this case, the type of stresses due to initial tightening, you may experience a tensile stress. So tensile loads may be developed due to tightening, due to which the tensile stresses are developed. Similarly, torsional shear stress. Torsional shear stress, and then bending stress may be developed. And shear stress, normal shear stress. So this is torsional shear stress and this is normal shear stress, and crushing stress also may be developed. Crushing stress, also called as bearing stresses. Bearing stress. So during the process of tightening itself, these type of stresses may develop inside the bolt, due to which the bolt may fail. Here, the element is not subjected to loading. External loading is not applied yet. During the process of tightening itself, it may fail due to any of these stresses. So that is initial stresses. And the second one is stresses induced by external loading. So that means here we have applied. So here both of these things have been joined like this, and now they are joined by using some bolt and nut arrangement. Now they are subjected to some loading. So in such cases, what happen? Here the loading is applied. The load is applied externally. So due to which this may fail due to shear. Or if the loading is applied in this way, then it may fail due to tensile stress. So here the loading is external, not due to initial tightening. We have tightened it already and it is safe. But due to this external loading, it may break. So that is stresses due to external loading. See, these external loads are usually, it may be due to tensile stress. Due to external loads, the tensile stresses may be developed, or shear stresses may be developed, or sometimes both the stresses may be developed. Both shear stress as well as tensile stress also may develop. Okay, so combined shear and tensile stress. Is it okay? So, due to initial tightening, without any external loading, these types of stresses may be developed, and due to which the bolt may fail. Okay, then when you are applying loads externally, in such cases, these two types of stresses, tensile stresses only or shear stresses only, or sometimes both, combined stresses may be developed, due to which the material may be failed. In such cases, this is failure due to external loading. And the third one, here the bolts or the bolted joints are subjected to both initial tightening stresses as well as external stresses. This is the most common thing, because when you are joining two components, you are tightening it. So, as and when you tighten it, there is some stress which is developed in the bolt, but due to the stress, it may not fail. It may not fail immediately. But when you apply external load also, due to external loading, these stresses may be developed. Then in such cases, this stress plus this stress, both the sum of these two stresses may lead to failure of the component. So that is the third case, stresses due to combination of tightening and external load. So a bolted joint may fail due to any one of the three conditions. So these are the types of stresses developed inside the bolt when it is in use. We will discuss in detail about each and every category. So how do you calculate the initial stresses due to tightening? For tensile stress, for torsional stress, for bending stress, for shear and crushing stress. And we will solve some problems on it. Similarly, we will discuss the problems related to the external loading. So when some amount of load is applied, so how much amount of shear stress is developed, or how much amount of tensile load is developed, or when it is subjected to shear or tensile loading, what is the safe diameter. So those are the things to be determined. So that is the second case, and we will solve some problems when they are subjected to both. So when solving the problems, if it is clearly mentioned, consider initial tightening, the stresses due to initial tightening, then only you have to consider this. Otherwise, simply you have to consider external loading only. So this you can understand while solving the problems. Unless otherwise specified, you need not consider these stresses. Okay, because they are comparatively smaller than the external loading stresses. Okay, so you will understand all these things when solving the problems. So this is all about the types of stresses developed in the bolted joints.